Ooh, Britney. It's Britney, bitch.
I
Boom, da,
think we
boom,
talked
da,
about Britney
boom, da,
before,
boom.
right?
What?
Give Me More. That was the name of that song. Universal
Um,
Champion Roman Reigns.
right. Um, that is that song. I love that meme when she's like walking up the stage and then she turns around slowly. Britney
Yeah,
does.
yeah.
I love how people use that. But anyway, yo, shout out to Britney because I did watch the documentary. Did you get to watch it yet? Not yet.
No, no, no.
All right. Well,
Not watching.
you should watch it.
I did see Justin Timberlake's apology.
I want to make it clear. The doc is not only about JT. He's one person. Um, a lot of the shots, because documentary takes shots, right? Let's be clear.
Obviously. Y'all seen Surviving R. Kelly?
But these are shots that are deserved,
Warranted, yeah.
warranted shots. Exactly, warranted shots. Very important. So, the paparazzi, they, in many ways, drove this woman to, like, a crazy place. A place of just like, I'm over this.
They did the same thing to her and Lindsay Lohan.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. There's that video of the well, that's not paparazzi, but media in general, right? You're talking about exactly. Yeah,
Paparazzi's media to me.
yeah, they are. Of course, we're media, technically.
Yeah.
Um, we're just dope. So the difference for Britney back then, she was really on an island with the shit. She was on an
Yeah.
island because no one had gone through what she went through in that sort of spotlight. And that was around the same time as paparazzi, like, kind of rising in stardom and
And
importance.
then also remember, she was like the first public woman.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, just for her to be coming up and, a rising
It was
star
like
at that time.
it was her, Lindsay Lohan, Anna Nicole Smith, Paris Hilton. It was like that
Hmm.
because I want to say that Britney was one of the first reality shows to ever hit TV.
I don't remember that show.
It was her and Kevin Federline.
Oh.
Being Britney, I think it was called, and it was on like it wasn't on a premium channel or like a cable channel. It was on network TV. I
Hmm.
believe it was UPN or something like that.
Hmm.
And it was wild. And then like you saw the Bobby and Whitney show. And when I think of Britney Spears, I also think of Whitney Houston because I think
Yeah.
in similar ways, people drove narratives about their lives that they were never able to tell. Like they were never able to tell their version of the stories.
And what happens? Fucks with their mental. Like, so what they were talking about in the doc was, and I know you don't mind if I'm like, it's not like this is a
No, that's
movie,
cool.
like,
But and
but
it's also not like I mean
you know,
I've seen it. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So she, like, that would have been her come up, and like everything she was going through and dealing with, that would have been the perfect time for society to think mental health conversations are cool. Like, she could have
Oh
used
yeah.
that
But you know
because
that was a no back
exactly
then.
it wasn't what it is now. Now it's like,
And you have a ton of celebrities
open
now
season.
coming out saying, "Yo, I was dealing with this at this time.
Hmm.
I was addicted to this. I was on painkillers. I was this and that. I was." You know, a lot of people fell out of the spotlight to come back, and we were like,
Hmm.
"Oh, they just took a hiatus," but in reality, they were struggling.
What they were saying in the doc was that she had to just like kind of put a smile on her face and take all the punches
Yo, she's
because no
Britney
one went through it.
Spears.
I know.
She's Britney Spears, yo.
That's why I respect her.
I
Um,
have never Britney's always been.
yeah.
I was a fan of Britney. I was a fan of her music. I thought she was hot. Britney was, she was something to watch, and to see what happened to her, like when The freeze frame that I think of is that bald picture.
The bald one, yeah.
Like when she's in, and I'm like, yo, they really did that to Britney Spears, bro.
They did.
But then I start thinking, I'm like, yo, the over sexualization of her when she was like 15.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at some of the stuff she was wearing and like, and this is where I get on MTV. Sorry, guys. When I look back at these award shows and these red carpets and these walks, and I realize how old these people were, bro, it's nasty.
How old who was?
You got like Britney, Justin, Christina Aguilera, like the younger, like these guys are like teenagers, the teeny bop era.
How young they were,
and they're dressed like, yo, they're sexualized.
That's their choice, though.
I don't think so. Like, I don't think so, because as a 14-year-old who is pushed into the spotlight by your momager or whoever's in charge of you, what are you really gonna say if you're providing for your family? Like, there's a ton of weight on you as a provider at this point, and you're only like 14, 15. Mm-hmm. So what do you say? No.
You're right. Yeah. Well, in the doc, and this is why it's important to note that she did not. There's no perspective from her directly in response.
It's
to this doc.
It's unauthorized, right?
I think so, but
yeah, I think so.
You know, of course the doc is like speaking, you know, in protection of her and like, you know, giving that perspective that often was not really said about her and her life. So, yeah, I would love to hear how much of this like she agrees with and is like, this is on point. I wouldn't be surprised if it's on point, but like a lot of the artistic direction of what she was doing when she was young and coming up, the dances, the look and all that, according to the doc, like that was her, like, and she wanted that, which is dope. You know what I mean? But like,
it's fine, because I know Janet was one of her influencers. So
exactly, yeah, for sure,
behind.
For sure. So, damn, JT, and you're like linked to both of them, not in great ways.
And then that whack ass apology.
Well, let's get to that. So, but first, yeah, like just speaking to the sexualization of her and their perception of her, media, they would be like questioning her, like, how do you feel about being this person who's like, I heard there's someone who would like to kill you because of your impact on their child. And like, she's like, damn, that's not my responsibility.
Right. Yo, take a seat. Yo, throw it. Yo.
Exactly.
Like, yo,
but
just, like,
at that time, she had to just be like, she couldn't flip out about it.
You had to be so fake back then. And I think that's, what's the word? That's an advantage that someone like Zendaya has.
Today, yeah.
Where she does not have to, because I can imagine Zendaya having to deal with the Britney pressure. Like if she had grown up in that, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think if Britney had the opportunity, if she was in this era, she'd be fine.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too.
And I think with the social media aspect, that's a positive of it, because as an artist, you can be as transparent as you want. Mm-hmm. And speak out against wrongdoing, like when Kesha did with her record label and just things of that nature. Like a lot of times, all this stuff would happen behind the scenes because legally you couldn't say anything. Mm-hmm. But social media added a layer of, Twitter's not in paperwork.
Right. Yeah.
So I can't tweet about it.
Right.
And by the time record labels caught up, it was too late.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Unless you're dealing with the Universal Champion Roman Reigns.
Right, exactly. Zendaya definitely has control of her narrative, you know, which is dope.
And it's crazy. Britney's still relatively young.
Yeah. I mean,
what is she, like 39?
Yeah.
Is she 40 yet?
I don't think so. One of the main focuses of the doc is this conservatorship. This conservatorship, which basically relinquishes her control and like of her finances and pretty much a lot of pretty much everything she wants to do
Yeah, we
is
covered
under
this
the
a
control
little
of
bit a
her
while
dad.
ago. Yeah,
So
because I think we first covered this when the
yeah,
initial I think it was a grand jury hearing or some. It was an
yeah,
initial
it
hearing
was
about it,
exactly,
and the judge was like, "Nah, dad's got to stay in control. She's not
exactly
mentally fit."
right. How's that even like? How does the system even enables this sort of setup where he has this much control and clearly is like
It's
just taking
paperwork, man.
advantage of a situation? Yeah,
It's
it's really
paper.
bad.
Whatever's on
It's
paper.
just yeah. So Justin Timberlake, he apologized. Yo, y'all saw that dog? My bad.
Yeah, right. Because there was a tweet a couple years ago that was like, "Yo, so are you gonna apologize to Janet Jackson now?" And he's like, "You poor soul." Like,
Oh shit, for real?
let me pull it. Let me pull up the receipt because I don't want to misquote JT.
Well, I
Go ahead
can
while I
read
find it.
okay, I'll read the apology to Britney
Yeah,
and
and by
Janet.
that time I'll find it.
Okay. I've seen the messages, tags, comments, and concerns, and I want to respond. I am deeply sorry for the times in my life where my actions contributed to the problem, where I spoke out of turn or did not speak up for what was right. I understand that I fell short in these moments, and in many others, and benefited from a system that condones misogyny and racism. I specifically want to apologize to Britney Spears and Janet Jackson, both individually, because I care for and respect these women and I know I failed. I also feel compelled to respond in part because everyone involved deserves better, and most importantly, because this is a larger conversation that I wholeheartedly want to be part of and grow from. The industry is flawed. It sets men, especially white men, up for success. It's designed this way. As a man in a privileged position, I have to be vocal about this. Because of my ignorance, I didn't recognize it for all that it was while it was happening in my own life, but I do not want to ever benefit from others being pulled down again. I have not been perfect in navigating all of this throughout my career. I know this apology is a first step and doesn't absolve the past. I want to take accountability for my own missteps in all of this, as well as be a part of a world that uplifts and supports. I care deep. I care deeply about the well-being of the people I love and have loved. I can do better, and I will do better. Justin
And
Marie
in
Timberlake.
and
No.
in 2016, he was someone tweeted, this was during the BET Awards in 2016.
Okay.
And someone tweeted it and said, so does this mean you're going to stop appropriating our music and culture and apologize to Janet too? His response was, "Oh, you sweet soul. The more you realize that we are the same, the more we can have a conversation. Bye."
Oh.
So the dismissiveness behind the one tweet in regards to Janet and an apology and even the appropriation of culture accusation, it was like the more like we're more like than you think. Like I shouldn't even have to justify that with an answer. No pun intended in Justified. Love that album. But in this apology, it's kind of too late, buddy. Like
Yeah. There. Yeah. Keep going.
I just feel like Janet has suffered. She had suffered a lot from that Super Bowl performance.
She did.
And he had only ascended into like super pop star, even bigger heights.
Yeah.
And Britney, if we're honest, we were on your side, man. Like we allowed you to like kind of shit on Britney and we agreed with you. Like Britney was the bad guy.
That was
You put her in the video, and instead of us seeing that as like all right, you're toxic, you're bugging. Like we saw it as a get her.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
we didn't think of how mentally that would affect her and the things that would come after that.
and we didn't think about like I think just in general, like how society views or viewed that relationship and just relationships
Right,
in
and
general.
how it has followed her every day since.
Yeah, for sure. But just like the fact that like there's not a possibility that two people in a relationship contribute to
The
a fallen
downfall of it.
outcome. You know what I mean? Like it must be just one person, right? It must be
Right.
this surface. She must have just like
And
cheated. That's
and
what.
we never ever even when what goes around comes around came out, people were like, "Oh, he must got another one at Britney." And it's like, yo, they haven't been together for like 5 years. Like,
Right.
but hey, it just speaks to the the value of women in society.
Yes, 100%. And it also speaks to something we've been discussing this whole episode: the power of media. Like media
Yeah.
can drive the fuck out of a narrative, yo.
Yep.
Like we're only
And
gonna
beat it into
we're only gonna know what we're exposed, what we're told.
and my last thing on this point of like media and them bugging out, I saw this very nasty tweet that had a video of Larry King interviewing Lindsay Lohan a couple years back.
Yeah.
No, not Larry King.
No.
It was,
David Letterman.
David Letterman.
Yeah.
Yo. And the gaslighting and the personal attacks, the jokes, it was disgusting, bro. It was disgusting. And then also I saw another clip with Craig Ferguson, I believe, doing a late night show, and he's like, I'm not gonna joke about Britney. But when he mentioned Anna Nicole Smith, he wasn't gonna do a joke about her. The crowd anticipated a laugh, like they laughed thinking he was about to make a joke about her.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, yo, how sick are people? Yo?
Yeah.
What are we portraying? Like, how do we help negatively affect this narrative? Like, and I'm definitely thinking like, yo, I'm gonna do my best not to continue to do it if I do something.
Right. And that's how things are today are not the same as they were like 10 years ago, 5 years ago. Like we just got to keep growing cuz
Like Janet Hubert today would have never been thrown off of Fresh Prince.
No, correct. 100%. Yeah.
Cuz Fresh Prince would have either been canceled or she'd have had a all right, on Viv wants 4 more scenes episode now. Like it wouldn't have been that like nah.
It's the right way that society is going about it today. At least we're going in the right direction where we're holding people accountable, and this is how you end up with a doc like this where it's okay. Like people are encouraged to put out this sort of information, right? Without having that fear, like, oh shit, how is this going to be viewed by, this society? I think now people are more encouraged. There's a battery in their backs to say, hey, let's call this shit out. Let's do it now. So,
well, shout out to Britney.
Yeah, definitely shout out to Britney.
Shout out to Janet. Shout out to
Janet. The apology from JT. Yes, it's too late. Is it better than no apology? Yes. Right. I think that's all. Like if he doesn't say anything ever, then like
we're good.
Whoa. But
no, we're good though, because nobody was thinking about. I wasn't thinking about him. Like if I'm honest, he just reminded me of how much of a jerk off he was.
Well, that's the risky game you play, right?
Right.
Right. But he felt he wanted to put that out. What he's saying in it, he's saying the right things, right? But it's just
absolutely. Listen, bro,
it's just too late.
There have been numerous apologies like this one. Mm-hmm. So if you put one out and you haven't previewed all the other ones that came before you, you're doing yourself a disservice.
Right.
So I mean, I had no doubt that this apology was going to read fire. The sincerity behind it, that's my question. Because I have not forgotten Man in the Woods.
Right.
And you not being black at the Super Bowl. Not like being black, but like you not showcasing.
You say he wasn't black at the Super Bowl?
But bro, his whole catalog is R&B music.
But he went into the Man in the Woods,
and you went into pop?
What did he?
Pop Man in the Woods category, yo?
Yeah. That was last year?
All right. 2 years ago, I think.